22. Cockbirth. Ye kukkura raja kulamhi vidha koleyaka vana balupapantha teamna vajja yamsam vadha nayang sagaccha dubbala ghatikyanti. Moreover, Tiluguru Samyak Sambudhu, who opened the door to nirvana in one Samaik, may close the temple. Arabhya said this Jatak to his relatives. That kinship behavior appears in Bhadrashala Jatak in Dwadasanipatha. He established the present story and told it to the past tense. On the last day, when a king named Brahmadatta was ruling in Varanasi, the Bodhi animals were born in the vagina of dogs because of such bad karma. They live in the great tomb surrounded by. Then, one day, the king got into a chariot, decorated with all the charioteers, and went to the garden, where the sun was shining for the whole afternoon, and when the sun had set, they were going to the city. The king's chariot was in the palace as soon as it was made. When it started raining in the night, the leather and upholstery of the car got wet. From the top floor of the building, dogs were brought inside in a leather and wrapped chariot. On the second day, they told the king that the gods had taken the dogs from the sluice and wrapped them in leather and wrapped them in the chariot. Hearing this, the king kissed the dogs and ordered them to be killed on the spot. Since then, great calamities have been born to dogs. Fearing death at the very place he saw, he went to the grave and became close to the Bodhi animals. Bodhi animals saw them and gathered in many places. They asked what was the reason for this. They say that the dogs ate the leather and armor of the king's chariot in the palace, and the angry king ordered the dogs to be killed. There are many dogs. A great fear arose. The bodhisattvas who heard this thought that dogs were not allowed to bite outside because the place was guarded. It is the actions of the dogs themselves, including the king. Kali thieves have no fear. Those who did not steal will come to death. It would have been better if I had given life to the king's relatives, even the thieves, and not all of those great Bosatana's relatives would have closed their eyes. I will give you my life. If the king sees something like this, then he will reflect on the Parami Dhammas and perform Salata Maitri meditation and hit me with a stone or a stick. After that, they saw not a single animal. The king ordered the slaughter of the dogs and you were in the tribunal. Bodhi animals go to the place where the king ascended and bow down under the throne of the king. At that time, the bodhisattvas and royal men pulled out from under the throne and started to hang out. Seeing that, the king stopped. Mahabosatana slept a little and bowed to the king under the throne and asked that you will also kill the dog. When they said that, what is the crime of the dogs, the king said. When they said that they had eaten the skin and hair made in my car, they asked if they knew who someone was. Unknowingly, he was convinced that he was the thief who had eaten the skin, so he saw this killing without knowing it and said that the king said it was good to kill him. He said that dogs were killed and dogs were killed where they were seen because the dogs had eaten the leather in the car. Who are the bodhisattvas who asked Ebers and asked whether your humans killed dogs or did not kill them? There are those who are not killed. He said that barking dogs are not allowed to be killed in our house. The great Bosatana heard this and said, Your Majesty, I have now ordered the killing of the dogs, because the dogs have eaten your skin. He said that the dogs of our house are not allowed to be killed again. When you say that, you will be prejudiced in terms of votes, he said. Saying this, the final journey is not to become a Buddha. There will be no royal religion. A king is like a light bulb and a moderate person. Now, wild dogs are not allowed to be killed. Debilitated dogs die. Therefore, not all dogs are killed. Weak dogs slaughter said. Saying this, Mahabosatana spread sweet tones and preached dharma to the royal judges, saying that if something is done as you are doing, it is not dharma. Moreover, the kings despise the thieves. The poor should not be insulted. The poor who have nothing come to death. It is said that there is injustice in this world. Kings listened to the Bodhisattva's words, scholars. He said that the horsemen had eaten the horse and asked if they knew. Knowing that, when and by whom it was eaten. How did you know that your house was eaten by dogs? He asked. When I asked if I would show them the truth, he said, Pandita. If that is the case, he said, bring the dog from your house and bring the milk shark and Ethan Subhab. The kings did the same. Then the great Bosatana said to the toads of this heathen shark, Pew me. The kings also said the same. Sharks vomited with leather and fur. Seeing that, the king said, it is like the saying of an omniscient one, and happily offered the white robe and the state. Mahabosatana, the great king, behaved with dharma towards his parents, etc., preached the dharma to the king from the Dasharaja dharma, which came in the Te Sakuna Jatak. After hearing the teachings of the great bodhisattvas, the kings gave shelter to all the animals and made the dogs to eat rice constantly at the end of the day. The Kukkuro argument has been in existence for 1,000 years. Bodhisattvas also died and went to the next world as they had lived only. Lord Buddha said, the omniscient ones do not behave in the next work to the relatives. After carrying out this sermon, he said that he had completed this Kukkura Jatak by combining the previous joints. The kings of that time are now Ananda Sthaviras. The remnants now ask themselves if I am the king Tiluguru Samyak Sambudhu, the chicken who warned the Buddha group in the Dasama.